Hello, my friends on YouTube and LinkedIn. You are in for a treat today. You know how I do things every Thursday at 11:30. I come to you live using StreamYard, so I'm waiting for StreamYard to connect it to my free Facebook group. Looks like it is doing that. Let me just make sure because my free group members are really wanting to see this live today. If you're not in my free group, by the way, you should be. What are you even doing with your life? It's called Be a Confident Entrepreneur, Get Visible, Grow Your Email List and Your Income. And let me get the comments going here for my friends in my free group. There we go. I am so excited to see you guys. Can you believe it's almost September? Holy cow. I don't even know what's happening anymore. Summer is over. We are headed into fall. We're headed quickly towards the end of the year. It's like, I feel like I'm on a fast speeding train. All right, my friends, today, what we are talking about is going to change your content creation life. My friend Kelly Sinclair is here, and she is a self-described AI-obsessed expert. No kidding. That's how she describes herself, and I love it. I am here for it. But she is going to help us because there are I don't know about you guys, but there are so many AI tools. And it feels like there's a lot of people trying to teach how to do AI and what to use and when to use it. And my head starts to spin. So I, quite frankly, am really glad for Kelly because I know she can totally shortcut this for us. She's going to change our lives, telling us about her quick strategies that she uses to gain visibility with AI. But first, just in case we are brand new to each other, I want to introduce myself, and then I'm going to introduce Kelly. I am Tracy Beavers. I'm an award-winning business and sales coach with over 20 years of experience in marketing, sales, and business growth. And about 7 years ago, most of you guys know my story, I got completely fed up with my corporate career. It just was not a good fit. So I hatched a plan to fully exit. I built this business you see now for about almost 2 years alongside that corporate job. And so I share that with you to let you know that if you are not enjoying your corporate job and you're really wanting to do something else, you can do it. I did it. You can too. I teach all organic visibility and list growth strategies, and I have coached hundreds of entrepreneurs over the years to get visible and grow your email lists so you can get that consistent monthly income that you really, really want. And the strategies that I teach get your email list growth happening automatically every day in the background of your business without paid ads or creating a truckload of free lead magnets. Let me introduce Kelly. We are so excited. And by the way, pop your questions and comments into the chat. I'm going to be looking at those as we go along. If you have something for Kelly, go ahead and ask. If you're coming to us on replay and you have a question for Kelly or for me, pop it into the comments. I will locate her. I will get an answer for you, and we will swoop in and answer that for you. So Kelly Sinclair, let's talk about her for a second. She is an award-winning marketer. And as I mentioned, AI-obsessed visibility coach. She's the CEO of KS & Co. and host of an outstanding podcast. It's in the top 3% globally. It's called Entrepreneur School, and you need to go listen to it. I was a guest on it recently, and it was really, really fun. But her podcast is for people like us, business owners who want smart, sustainable growth. And when she's not driving her kids around in the mom taxi, can you relate to that? And it sounds like her daughters are playing never-ending sports, which I love that kids play sports, but good gravy, that can keep you busy. When she's not driving the kids around, she's helping us, entrepreneurs, build visibility, which you know I love, and that visibility actually feels like you. It's authentic, it's clear, it's rooted in what lights you up and makes your work matter. She's got over 15 years in PR, brand strategy, messaging, media, and she's going to help us amplify our voice, get this, with less effort and more clarity. Ha! Cheers to that. Less effort and more clarity. So welcome in, Kelly. Tell us just a little bit more about you, if you don't mind. I always like to ask a fun fact. I always like to ask a fun fact. What's yours?
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Tracy, for having me. I appreciate this so much. That's like quite the intro. I have so many things I want to say already. I feel like, I don't know. I have some very random fun facts, but I live near the Rocky Mountains up in Canada, near Banff. That's on a lot of people's travel bucket list. And just this past weekend, I was out doing a significant hike, like a 24-kilometer big high up hike, climbing a mountain, and realized I'm afraid of heights.
Oh, my stars.
And I mean, I know this, but like, it only impacts me in these moments. But I've also gone bungee jumping when I lived in New Zealand for a little while, but the guide
Oh,
on this hike was so funny. She's like, "Has anyone got a problem with hikes?" I was like, "It's me." And she's like, "Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the pole and we're gonna make you a little railing." And she walked in front of me, and my husband walked behind me, and they like made me a
aw,
little railing,
that's
which
so
was
nice.
great. It
It's
helped a lot.
it reminds me of the toddlers in preschool that are all hanging onto the rope. You know what I
Yes.
mean? As they're walking through the out to the
The
playground.
funny thing was at the beginning of the hike, it was a group and, like, people you don't know, and you're like, "Who's gonna be, like, the problem one?" It was me. I was it was me.
So funny. You're like, "Hi, I'm the
Hi.
problem."
Oh,
Yeah,
when you don't see the person, you're the person.
right. Oh, I'm the yeah, no, I've done that before too. Okay, the bungee jumping. Let's talk about that for a sec because you got my
Mm.
attention. Does it
Well,
it
you
looks frightening as heck, and it looks like it, like, did it make you, like, 5 inches taller by the
oh
time
my
it was
god.
done?
So, first of all, New Zealand is known for, like, adrenaline sports, so you have to just kinda, like, embrace the culture when you're there. So
Okay.
I'm like, "Hey, we're gonna do this bungee jump." It was over water, and
Oh,
so the people, they ask you, "Well, I went with my husband and my best friend." This was before I was married, but whatever. And I thought I could go in the middle, like, I could watch one, and then I could go, and then the next person could go, and that way I was gonna be forced to go. They're like, "No, you're first." I was like, "Okay." And they're like, "Well, do you wanna touch the water, be submerged in the water, or not?" I was like, "Maybe a touch the water? I don't know." Well, they calculated wrong.
Oh,
And
no.
so I go off this 47-meter platform, which is very high, and I am submerged in the water, and all I know is that I felt like I was dying, and then I saw red because I was wearing a red hoodie, and it came up over my arms,
Oh my
and
god.
then I'm, like, flopping around with a wet hoodie trying to dis like, change while hanging, and then they, like, lower you down into a boat, but I had chucked my hoodie. I don't know why I didn't hold on to it, I just
Oh
threw it
my
in the
gosh.
water. I was like, "This is gone."
Oh my
And then
god.
we had to go and search for it. We had to pick it up, and yeah, it was a whole thing, and I did it, and I won't do it again.
Done. Checked off the bucket list.
Mhm, yep.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, kudos to you for being brave enough to do that because no, just that experience. I'm like, nope, I'm good. I'm not doing it. I love it. All right. Let's dive into the topic today because AI, you know, this has got to be one of the not okay, alongside Taylor Swift's engagement, but AI has got to be one of the hottest topics in our lives right now as online entrepreneurs. It is everywhere. So this interview is right on time. Tell us what makes you obsessed with it. And I know you mentioned that you had there's a difference between with regard to visibility. You've mentioned there's a difference between performative visibility and strategic. So kind of give us the nitty-gritty on that. What's the difference between the two? Because that caught my attention. And tell us why should we pay attention to that?
Yeah, okay, so first of all, I was recording a podcast episode for my own show yesterday, and I started talking about how I've added, like, this was not on my on my bingo card for 2025 to add accidental tech nerd to my
Uh-huh.
bio, but that's what has happened because, like you said, not only is AI, like, prevalent, and anybody who's been kind of holding back going, "Is this a trend? Do I really have to get on board?" Yeah, the answer is yes now. It's about how do you integrate this properly.
Yeah.
And for me, I started my business, and my entire business runs around the value of being able to create success in order to have the life that you want,
Yes.
not so that you can keep hustling more, like you said in your own story. And I have a similar one about leaving the corporate world behind.
Yeah.
That's because there's a
Yeah.
clash in values and alignment.
Yep.
And so when I think about AI, to me the opportunity is, oh my gosh, it's so amazing that we have tools now that can support us to do the things that we need to do in order to run that successful business without burning out and giving more time and just producing more content.
Got it.
So I think this is an important distinction right off the bat, is that we shouldn't be looking at AI to just be like, how do I now just be everywhere and get more places and make more stuff? Like,
Mhm.
let's not feed the overstuffed internet
Yeah.
that's full of content created by AI that's crap half the time.
Yeah.
Let's figure out, how to use it in a strategic way. So this is
Yeah.
where I have to distinguish that AI cannot fix a broken strategy. right?
Ooh, say that again.
AI cannot fix a broken strategy. You need to know what you're putting in, why you're doing what you're doing, and how it actually leads to ROI for you. And when it comes to visibility, like you know this, everything works and also everything doesn't work. But why? But why is that the case? Well,
Yeah.
a lot of factors, right? Your individual business is different, your goals are different, you have a different audience, you have a different brand, a different
Mhm.
way that you want to talk. You
Yeah,
have different strengths, and I think this is so important when I work with clients. We figure out what your strengths are and we build you a plan that aligns with those strengths.
I like
So you're
that.
no longer like there's a lot of people who come into my world because they don't want to focus on social media tactics.
Right.
They're like, I don't want to be there. It drains me. I feel like I'm just having, like, I'm checking some box by
Mhm.
posting on social media or whatnot. But things that light them up might be going to networking events, meeting people in real life, speaking,
Yes.
being on podcasts. So let's build a plan that matches that, right? Because as long as we're figuring out how to get you in front of your right fit audience, that's the right strategy.
Yeah.
So when I talk about performative versus strategic visibility, performative is that like doing it for the sake of doing it,
Got it.
right? And
The
we
performance.
sometimes, yeah, we have that feeling in the back of our heads, and people tell me this all the time, like, oh, but what if I go away from social media, like, won't somebody notice? Like, they're not going to see me, or they're going to think I'm not there, or they're going to think whatever. Well, guess what? I just did an experiment, and I quit social media for the whole summer. I
Wow.
did not post one single time on social media. I had the best financial summer of my business in the last 4 years.
Nice.
I have never felt so at ease and flow, and everything just is really like, you know how sometimes you're in that space and it's just like, I want to be there. That's me right now.
Yeah.
And the downsides have been immeasurable. Like there's nothing to say, oh, there was a big, huge negative impact. And
Yeah.
that's because for me, I know that I'm not like attracting or converting clients on social media. That's happening in other places. Social media has
Mhm.
always just been a nurture kind of space where I
Mhm.
can leverage, use it as an additional communication channel, put out things that I'm already doing elsewhere. And this was just like, well, here's how we do an experiment. We just cut it off. It's like
Yeah.
the elimination diet, right?
Yeah.
What happens if we take it away?
Right. Right.
And
Well,
so
what
for
did you do instead? Because I know my audience is like, okay, Kelly, that sounds cool, but what did you do? Because you can't just disappear completely and still make money.
exactly. Exactly. And so this is just about the shift of like identifying what the strategic visibility opportunities are
Huh?
and just eliminating the performative ones. So for me, social media performative, it's
Yeah.
like must put here, go, go. Strategic, I was doing workshops, speaking in person. I'm participating in online summits and bundles that are email list lead building generating.
Uh-huh.
And hundreds of people have joined my email list over the summer. I secured speaking opportunities, podcasts, all those kinds of things over the summer for the fall. Like you're just stacking up what you're doing next and
Nice.
making sure that there's something collaborative. And
Mhm.
collaborative is very strategic. Like you and I met, we
Yeah.
talked to each other. We have now shared each other's platforms with each other. These are the important things, the relationships that you can
Mhm.
build with
Yep.
peers and collaborators so that you can add value to each other's audience. It's so much easier than fighting for your own voice in the void of
Mhm.
social media.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is this is refreshing. Absolutely refreshing. And I'm so glad that I asked you that question about what did you do? Because there are a lot of people out there. Like I saw a post just today that said this gal's got a multi six figure business and she's working 5 hours a week. And I'm like, it sure would be nice if you would share with us the backstory on that because somebody's got to be doing the work. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, I'm getting off on a soapbox here.
Mm,
Let's continue to talk about AI because it can be a huge time saver. It can also help us. It helps me with clarity. Like I can throw, like for a live training, I have all my ideas, the points I want to make, the I don't want to forget to say this and that and share this and that with my audience. And ChatGPT has been really great about giving me clarity on a great framework and organizing my ideas that way. So I know that it saves me time and helps me focus. So tell us what you have found about AI saving time, helping focus. And instead of just, like you just mentioned, instead of just pumping out more and more content to try to perform on platforms.
Absolutely. So, first of all, the one main thing, so I teach a 10-minute a day visibility habit,
Mm-hmm.
right? So,
Nice.
your visibility has to be a habit. It has to mean you're connecting with someone or, doing something that involves another person, at least one,
Yeah.
on a daily basis. And these are things that can literally take 10 minutes
Mm-hmm.
instead of, like, sometimes we get intimidated by what we would consider to be strategic visibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I want to be on a podcast, how do I do that? Well, I might have to research podcasts, or I might have to network with podcast hosts, and I might have to fill out a form and
Mm-hmm.
write my topic ideas and all of those kind of things. And these things are all going to be like time, 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 time. Then you go, ugh, it's faster to write an Instagram post. But this is what I am seeing, is that instead of spending the time to do that performative task, you
Mm-hmm.
can use AI to support you in implementing the higher ROI strategic visibility move.
Nice.
So there's a whole swack of different ways to do this. But I find one is to use the projects feature in ChatGPT. So
Mhm.
this helps you to organize for specific
Me
types
too.
of tasks. So I have
Yes.
one called speaking, and so every time that I write out ideas for topics that I want to pitch to events,
Mhm.
descriptions, those kinds of things, it's all saved in there. And so it has the memory of every single chat that happens within that project.
Nice.
And you can give it some important context, right? You can give it like, I took some transcripts from my own podcast of things that I'm like, these are the points that I want to summarize and turn into forward facing topics.
Right.
So it has a whole list of my language. It knows what my key messages are from there. You can build best practices documents, so it knows how to help you set up. For mine, it has, like, a high converting business talk.
Mhm.
I would have that in there. So it's like you just got to give it the parameters to know what job it's doing.
Yeah.
So that one is if you're repeating stuff regularly, but you want it to have a memory of all the
Mhm.
conversations that you have. Because
Right.
that's the difference between the projects right now and custom GPTs, where
Mhm.
a custom GPT, you can train it to have a very specific task that it does,
Right.
but it doesn't have memory of your previous conversations. So in the
Interesting.
case of your, like, planning your live episodes, like, it's
Mhm.
going to give you the same advice almost every time. Like, what should I talk about? It'll be like, well, you're a visibility and list growth strategist. So, email and Facebook groups and all the things you talk about. And you're like, yeah, well, I've done that. So
Yeah.
can you find new angles? And until you give it that information, it doesn't know.
Mhm.
So that's why I like play around between the projects and the custom GPTs based on today's availability and
Right.
what the tools can do.
Right.
Because, as we know, just a couple weeks ago, ChatGPT got an entire new model. It changed
Mhm.
its whole brain, and the functionality is changing so regularly that you just kind of have to stay on top of it by using it regularly.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Now you've developed some things that are pretty cool. You've got a tool called BrandCalibrator, and then you've got Valerie, the visibility auditor. That is so fun. Can you tell us more about those tools and how they help you and how they could help us?
Yes. So Valerie was my first custom GPT that I made to sell to clients to help them essentially identify the strategic visibility moves and
Mhm.
score you on a weekly basis on what you're doing and how performative versus strategic it is. So it takes that whole concept we talked about, it builds it
Mhm.
into a tool. It says it recommends what you might want to do next week. It asks you questions to help analyze the effectiveness of the activities that you have done. And it also just really helps reinforce that habit.
Mhm.
As we're trying to build a new habit on, like, getting visible on a daily basis, it's asking you to remember some things that you do. I mean, I started and I still have a desk calendar underneath my computer right now where I write every day when I do something. So today,
Yeah.
Live with Tracy is going on there,
Yeah.
right? And also the day that we talked the first time, that went
Mhm.
on there, right? And then we podcasted and, like, all
Mhm.
these things, just because sometimes we feel like we're not doing anything, right?
Yes.
That feeling of lack of productivity, but it's not true.
Right.
So tracking it to just give yourself the little wins over time. So that's what Valerie does.
Nice.
BrandCalibrator is my thing that I'm most excited about right now, because when we are using AI and we're frustrated that it doesn't sound like us and it's giving us generic, robotic sounding content outputs, this is the fix, because you need to calibrate AI with your brand.
Got it.
So what this tool does is it goes through your like vision for who you are and what you want to be. It does an audit of how you're currently putting yourself out there to assess any gaps that might conflict with, like, is this who you're showing up as? This is who you say you want to be. What are the gaps, or are you being consistent? It goes through a deep dive ideal client profile experience so that it understands who you're talking to, because anytime we want an output from ChatGPT, it has to have an audience. We need to know who it's talking to so that it can make those connections, right? And then it does a personality infusion. So it's going to ask you questions like, I just heard you say good gravy, like that kind of thing, like little statements that you might make, the way that you might talk, just to like infuse more of you into the output. And then it produces a document that you then can use to train your AI for custom GPTs, for projects, for any version of anything you want to create. And that has like, it's 95% more you on the first try.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh, you are so smart. How long did it take you to develop these tools?
So, I mean, I've been in branding my whole career. So I've seen a whole bunch of different varieties of a brand book. And then that just becomes this thing that sits on the shelf.
Yeah.
Right. And
I've got one.
yeah, it's like, how do we actually apply that? Now we have AI. AI can use it as a filter, and it's amazing. Like, you actually can make sure that that litmus test, which is intended to be so, actually goes through all of your material that you're working towards putting out there. And even not just like communication material, which is, you know, the majority of things that I'm focused on as a marketer, but also even your internal processes, because your brand is about how you interact with your clients, you know, the way that you write emails to potential collaborators, all of these things.
Yeah.
So it took a while to like reverse engineer it into the process. But I mean, I've been doing, you know, brand VIP days and things like that for years. So I've taken like, what is the information that I need to get out of the client? What are the things that we need to do in order to like assess the audit? What are the key questions? And then AI helps build this too. Like, when you know and you have the critical thinking skills, I was able to build all these pieces. And now it's just like one big, very thorough custom GPT that takes about an hour to an hour and a half to go through, because it even takes you writing samples.
Oh,
It's going to
wow.
give you like a tone analysis, a sentence structure composition, like all the things that you would never just know off the top of your head,
Yeah.
to help guide it to sound way more like you.
That's outstanding. Oh my gosh, how exciting. Okay, tell us really quick, because I know we're almost at time. What are some of your favorite AI tools? Like, what do you use on a daily basis and absolutely love?
I only use ChatGPT.
I love that. Oh my
I
gosh,
was
me
like,
too.
why would I? I don't feel that. I know I've been hearing things about Claude in terms of its ability to do better, maybe marketing related things. But I'm actually working with a partner right now to develop our own interface that is like pulling from different models and allows us to do things like GPT orchestration and like a multi GPT with memory. So solving all these issues that I'm finding, you know, like, why doesn't my custom GPT have a memory? How come I can't get this GPT to talk to this GPT? Those are the kinds of things that we're trying to build out.
Yeah.
So if you want to stick around and learn more about that, I'll be sharing in the next, you know, weeks and or month. That's what's on deck for me in the fall.
That's amazing. I know we can't wait for that. That's so cool. Let me see if we have any questions. We've got several people joining us live, and they're all excited to be here. I love it. Cherie said that she doesn't love social media posting, but it is starting to feel easier. So that's really great. You guys, Kelly's got an awesome freebie for you. It's her. Do you want to tell them about it? It's the 90-day visibility sprint kit. What's in it?
Yeah. So again, this is about helping you to build out your habit building. It has a resource of all of the like 30 plus things that I deem as strategic visibility versus
Mhm.
performative.
Mhm.
And it has a built in AI tool who's named Sarah, the sprint coach, and she will help like guide you.
Yeah.
If you feel low energy today, if you feel like you want to take on the world and reach for something big, she's going to ask you those kinds of questions to help you to take the right step to make progress. Because in the
Mhm.
end, it's all about the momentum that you're building. And you'll see that once you find yourself having a big win, you will take that energy and turn it into another big win, like
Yeah.
right away. Like recently, I landed a really exciting partnership for my upcoming bundle.
Mhm.
And I was so excited about it that I turned around and like pitched myself for a big speaking opportunity because I was like, okay, nothing can stop me now. Right. And that
Right.
is so important to step into. None
Yes.
of this is for nothing
Right.
because evaluating your visibility ROI, sometimes you can't draw that straight line. Right. It's like it's a snowball that builds as it rolls down the hill. It's that I
Yes.
met Tracy last month and we did this. And then somebody who's watching this reaches out to me and then something else happens and then in a year from now who
Yep.
knows where we are, right?
Yep. Absolutely. I say yes. I like to think of it as this. I'm going to date myself when I say this. Back when I was in corporate years ago, when the technology was low, there were games built into your computer that the employers couldn't get off there, which was amazing. One of them was Minesweeper, and it's this block of dots, and you go and you click on the dots. And sometimes you get 2 or 3 dots to open up together, and sometimes you get a whole section that opens up. And so that's what that reminds me of. It's like, your little you have a snowball thing. I've got like this minesweeper thing where the next interview you have might just blow your business wide open, or the next collaboration, or the next summit that you're on, or the next piece of. I mean, you just never know. That's what's so
Yeah.
exciting about it.
And I think I want to just make sure that we're framing that as exciting and not like, well, if you never know, like, how do you know what to do? But
Right.
instead, could you just take that energy and go, this could be the next big thing? Like, it
Mhm.
might just be one email that you send to one person.
Yep. Yep. For
Or
sure.
for me, one time I accepted a podcast pitch from somebody who was like personally working with Ed Milet and sold out like an 8,000 person stadium. And I was like,
Nice.
he was like, "Oh, I'm just going to go on the or the Joe Rogan show next." I'm like, "Yep, that's similar."
Same.
Mhm.
Same. Yeah, totally. I love that. It's so funny. I told somebody the other day, I said, I am no Joe Rogan. I mean, like, because people ask, what's the sweet spot for podcast episodes? And, I'm hearing like 30 minutes or less. Well, he can go for 3 hours. And I was like, I'm not him. So I'm not going to even try to do that. Yeah.
Mhm.
That is.
We're often just trying to find like all the answers all
Mhm.
the time. Like, what's the optimal? I did a social media panel next to a social media manager, and I took my opinion of like, do what you're going to do and don't do it if it doesn't feel right.
Mhm.
And people are still asking you, when's the best time of day to post? And when is like, how many posts per week? And I'm
Right.
like, I don't care.
Yeah.
And it's whatever works for you and that you're actually going to do. So like just take these little steps as wins
Yeah.
and assess like how are they helping you?
Mhm.
Because we're here doing a Facebook live and I haven't done one for years, but I used to do one every single week and I did
Yeah.
it for 2 years. I did over 100 of them.
Yeah.
And then I started a podcast and like was it because the Facebook lives created amazing like interaction and engagement? And no. But what it did do was give me a lot of clarity and
Yeah.
speaking skills and other things that were super beneficial. So
Mhm.
sometimes the win isn't just about getting a client and getting money.
Exactly. I like what you said there because it's the same thing that I teach when people say, how many posts per week? What's the best time of day? I totally agree with you. I don't pay attention to the best time of day. I could care less because I don't have time for that. But I agree with you on what you said. Whatever cadence you pick for the week, if it's 3 posts, if it's 2 posts, if it's 7 posts, you have to stick with it. If the consistency is more important than how many times you're doing it. So I love what you said right there. Guys, I have Kelly's free gift for you. It is a $47 value. So do not sleep on this. It's the 90-day visibility sprint starter kit. And if you are listening to me on YouTube or on my podcast, the link for this will be in the show notes and in the description notes. And if you guys haven't listened to my podcast, I want to mention it to you because I'm really proud of it. It's called Create Online Business Success. I'd be most honored if you would listen to it, follow it, subscribe to it, and also do the same for Kelly. Hers is the Entrepreneur School. You're going to love it. Join me once a month in a new event that I'm hosting. Most of you guys have already heard about this. I have a free networking event for online entrepreneurs. The only thing is you have to be a member of my free Facebook group in order to get the registration, because even though it's kind of open to the public, we want to kind of get a community of support going in there. So come to the Be a Confident Entrepreneur group. You can search for it in Facebook groups, or you can find it on my personal profile. And come on in, join the group, answer the membership entry questions on your way in, and then you can get registered for the free event. It's actually, the first one we're doing is a week from tomorrow, September 5th. But we're going to do one the first Friday of every single month. We're going to have so much fun, and we're going to do some free giveaways. I'm giving away a 30-minute one-to-one. I have alums in my mastermind program that are giving away some of their paid offers. So it's going to be really cool. Kelly, thank you so much for being here with me today. Is there anything that you want to share at the end before I wrap this up?
Thank you, Tracy. I appreciate that. I will just say, take one action, right? Take one action today. It's going to take you less than 10 minutes. Maybe it's go sign up for the networking event.
Yeah.
Because you never know who you're going to meet in those rooms. I love online networking event. That's how you and I came together, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
take one action and then build on it.
Yeah. Yep. Amen to that. All right, my friends, be here live with me every Thursday at 11:30 Central. Put it on your Google Calendar, set a phone alarm. I will be here with you next Thursday, September 4th. Can't believe it's the first Thursday in September. Mind blower. And the biggest thing I want you to hear every single week, and I say this every week for a reason, don't go it alone. Being an entrepreneur is really hard. Some days everybody wants to buy what you're selling, and other days nobody can remember your name or how to spell it or what you offer. And if you think you're alone feeling that way, you're absolutely not. We all have days like that, but that's where you've got to get into a community of support, finding those business besties through networking, coming into my free Facebook group and asking for support and setting coffee chats and finding a community that gets you and gets what you're building. I want you to have a great balance of the week and weekend. And I want you to remember that when one of us rises, we all rise. So that is why we have got to keep cheering each other on. I will see you guys next week. Kelly, thank you again.
Thanks, Tracy.